Music can be a great tool to tell a story, and one genre that tells the best stories is country music. Garth Brooks tells us a story as old as time with his song, The Thunder Rolls. Welcome to I Got a Song.
Hey everyone, welcome to I Got a Song. We are the average podcast about exceptional music. Today I am hosting. I'm Michael, and along with producer extraordinaire, best friend, co-host, co-compatriot, friend for life, and in life, Clay Collins. What's up, buddy?
Hello, sir. Thank you for that fantastic introduction. What a joy to be back with you.
Absolutely, man. We just got through wrapping up another episode. I think I say that just about every time I'm the second host of the day. But
we like to keep consistent, though.
That's right. We just talked about the Monkees. That was a fantastic episode. We are recording on New Year's Day, 2025. Brand new day, brand new year.
Yes. How exciting.
And we're starting it out right. We're going to drop a couple of brand new, fresh episodes to start the year off right.
Indeed. Been looking forward to them.
This is episode 56. 56 episodes in. Or as Clay would so often say, episodio 56.
Exacto.
God.
Qué bueno.
Michaels. Anyway, I think I've got a good one for you today. I feel like it's a good one anyway. You might be like, oh. But
we usually go in feeling pretty confident like that, I think.
Oh, yeah.
I have no idea what Michael's going to bring to me. If you've never joined the show, that's what we do.
No. Yeah, real quick, that is what we do. It's my turn to host, so I have picked out a song ahead of time. You, the audience, already knows the song because it's in the title. Clay has no idea yet, and what I'm going to do is kind of build it up a second and then send him a link to the song in real time and get his reaction, and then we'll listen to it and come back and chit-chat about it for a little while. Just like a good time, Clay?
That sounds like a great time. That's the formula, man.
All right, a little bit of admin.
That's the anthem. Get your damn hands up.
Yeah. Let's see. Just for those wondering, this is not a Jay-Z song, so
not yet.
Little admin. Let's see. You can listen to us on just about every major podcast platform, up to but not limited to Spotify, Amazon, iHeartRadio, and you said there was a new one, right? Good Pods or something like that.
Yep.
Good Pods. Cool. All right. We also, I don't think we mentioned it on the last admin bit, but we have a phone number, a Google phone number you can call for a good time. Call 323-903-SONG and let us know what you think.
Or send a text to that number, too.
Or send a text to that number, exactly. And we see them all.
And you can also find us on Instagram at I Got a Song Podcast, and that's about it on the socials. Forget X.
That really is about it.
Yeah, just delete it.
Neither one of us are big social media hounds, and so when we get the big contract from Spotify, then maybe we can hire a social media manager. But until then,
yeah, that'd be good. That's a good idea. I like where you're going with this. It's a good thoughts.
One more thing. We have a merch store now, Clay. Did you know that?
Really?
Yeah. In fact.
Oh, yeah. I was wondering what I was doing like last weekend for several hours. I can't remember. that kind of blacked out for a minute.
I'm here to remind you. It is I Got a Song Swap Meet.
.bigcartel.com.
.bigcartel.com. Sorry.
There you go. That's where you find it.
I Got a Song Swap Me. We got a few things of merchandise on there, including some T-shirts, a hoodie, and some cool coffee mugs. And a bonus on that is if you throw in your order, man, they get right on it. I put in my first order just a few days ago. I got a email that it shipped, I believe, 2 days later. So it's
pretty good.
Stuff is made to order, but man, they get right on it and get your stuff to you. So check it out.
Yeah, check us out if you want to support our show.
All right, I'm going to jump right into it, Clay.
I like this. We're keeping it tight, right?
That's right.
We're only 4 minutes in. We've got the intros out of the way. We've got the admin.
That's right. I think we're finally getting comfortable with, like, this is what we got to say. Now let's say what we want to say.
I like it.
Clay, do you like songs or music or artists that tell stories in their songs? I already kind of know the answer to this, but for the benefit of our audience,
Not typically.
not typically, right?
I can think of a few. Should I think of some?
If you come up with something like right off the top of your head, like a
Red-Headed
song,
Stranger?
A red-headed stranger from Blue Rock, Montana, rode into town one day, and under his knees was a raging black stallion, and walking behind was a bay. The red-headed stranger had eyes like thunder.
Like,
very good. Very good, yes.
The David Bowie album Outside. Concept album. I love that album.
Excellent. Good
That's
choice,
more
good
of a
choice.
concept album, but it does tell a story.
That's right. I like that you brought both of those up. Let's see. The song I've picked tells
I
a bit
thought of a really
story.
terrible, another really awful example.
Oh, well, I got to hear it, please.
Well, we love the Smashing Pumpkins, but Autumn is a 33-song concept album that's a story.
And tell me how you feel about it, Clay.
I don't care for it.
Gutters and strikes. We say a lot, but gutters and strikes.
And there we go. All right,
Clay. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and fix up this link real quick. And in the meantime, I'm going to ask you, have you ever heard of a singer by the name of Troy Brooks?
Troy Brooks.
Troy, Troy, like the name Troy, but then A-L at the end of it. Troy Brooks.
No.
Okay. Let's see. I'm going to...
So like Royal, but with a T at the front.
Yes. T Royal or Troyal.
Unfamiliar.
Let's see. As I paste this, I'm going to paste and hit send. Troy Brooks actually had a pretty successful career. He's more well known by his stage name though. And I believe you should have the link now.
Can we go ahead and open it? Okay.
Yes, please.
I saw it pop up, but I'm just gonna let's see here. We've got we got Garth Brooks.
Yeah.
The Thunder Rolls. I know this song.
You do know it.
I do.
Do you know it?
I do know it.
Oh, what is your initial thought before we go listen? Are you familiar enough with it to be able to?
I think it's about a guy who roughs up his wife and she like kills him or something. I think. Or I might be thinking of another.
No, you're just
that
about
might be
right
it.
on the money. You're just about right on the money.
Wow. Garth Brooks.
Can you still hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We may have to pause a second. I might have to throw on my other microphone here. Hang on.
Now,
Okay,
first
so
when I was thinking
songs.
Brooks, I went to like Brooks and Dunn. I don't know why, because I don't know anything about them, but I know it's the name
Fair.
Brooks.
Fair.
And Troyal is
Royal Garth Brooks.
that's definitely a unique name.
Yeah. So, man, let's take a listen to the song, and
Yeah.
then we'll come back and we'll talk about exactly what you were talking about with the context of the song.
Okay, all right. Well, let's go listen to the song, and we will be right back.
All right. This is Thunder Rolls by Garth Brooks.
3:30 in the morning, not a soul in sight. The city's looking like a ghost town on a moonlit summer night. Raindrops on the windshield, there's a storm moving in. He's heading back from somewhere that he never should have been. And the thunder rolls. And the thunder rolls. Every light is burning in a house across town. She's pacing by the telephone in her faded flannel gown. a strange new perfume blows, and the lightning flashes in her eyes, and he knows that she knows, and the thunder rolls, and the thunder rolls. The thunder rolls, and the lightning strikes, another love grows cold on a sleepless night, as the storm blows on out of control. Deep in her heart, the thunder rolls.
All right, everybody, that was Garth Brooks bringing down the thunder with The Thunder Rolls. Clay?
Yeah, I heard that song. How could you not hear that song?
It was a big song.
Even for somebody who didn't like country in the 90s, like actively did not like country.
Okay.
Like took steps to
Yes.
disassemble the country music industrial complex of the 90s. Who staged so many protests that I cannot tell you. I have scars from being beaten by cops for my... No, I'm just kidding. No, I did not like it, but I knew that song. And I appreciated it. I'm trying to remember. I know at the time I didn't care for it, so it came to me point somewhere. I don't know where but I knew it. Yeah.
Okay. So listening to it now, with the hindsight of life and the fact that you're no longer a 17 or 18-year-old kid hating on country music in general, what are your thoughts on this song in particular? I kind of knew I was going to challenge you with it a little bit.
It's okay.
You're not going to break my heart, dude. If you don't like it, you don't like it.
I don't dislike it.
Okay, that's fair.
It's not one. Okay, it's not going to make my likes list.
No.
On Spotify.
I didn't figure it would.
It won't.
No.
If that's an indication, but I don't dislike it.
Okay. It is probably my favorite Garth Brooks song.
Nice. Nice.
Now, I've said it on the show several times before. I was raised on primarily country music and gospel music. Yeah. And so country radio exploded with Garth Brooks in 1989 to 1990. Since then, this guy, he is to put it as simply as I can, he is one of the biggest selling musicians of all genres of all time.
Right.
Of all time. He has sold 170 million total records. He's the only musician in history to have 9 albums certified diamond. The next
9 times.
9 times. He's had 9 albums certified as diamond status.
9 times.
He surpassed the next artist on that list below 9 certified albums is 6 certified albums by the Beatles.
Good heavens.
Let's see. His double live album is the best-selling live album in history. He is, there's a little bit of controversy about this particular accolade, but he's the best-selling solo artist of all time, depending on how it's counted, alongside Elvis.
Wow.
And he's the second best-selling artist overall, group or solo, behind the Beatles. So the Beatles have sold more total records, but he has more diamond certified albums than the Beatles.
And the Beatles also had a 20-year head start, probably.
Yes. Oh, yeah. So the song "The Thunder Rolls" comes from his album "No Fences." It was his second album. It was released in, I believe, 1990. That album alone sold 17 million records.
Mercy.
Yeah, he's kind of a big deal.
That's the best way to put it. Yeah, he's kind of a big deal.
Kind of a big deal.
That's the album that's got Friends in Low Places.
It does. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's right. You're absolutely right. just a huge album. I don't even know.
Oh, and it's also got Two of a Kind working on a Full House.
You know that song?
Yes.
And-
We're two of a kind working on a full house. That's a good song.
You knowing a Garth Brooks song and liking it. Yeah.
It's not. I was just going through Spotify.
People.
I'm cheating. I'm looking at Spotify. Yeah.
It is a revelation, people.
But I wanted to see if I had any Garth Brooks songs in my likes folder. I don't.
You probably don't.
But
we're going to get to that. We're going to get to.
I think after this episode, though.
What's that?
Because I think after this episode, though, I'll have a couple because I can think of a few.
Well, you're going to have a problem
that I know that I like.
You're going to have a problem with that because that's what I was going to kind of allude to. But just to kind of get stuff out of the way with just him in general. My goodness, the Thunder Rolls. I asked you if you liked songs that tell a story. So the story in the song that we heard, this is the studio recording of the Thunder Rolls. It's a man who has been stepping out on his wife, and she knows, and he's coming home from an affair basically, and I assume with probably like the excuse of I had to work late or whatever the case may be. It's not mentioned in the song, but it says he's coming home from someplace he never should have been.
He's up to some. He's unfortunately some cahoots.
He's cavorting with someone else.
Cavorting? Okay. Cahoots is I thought was what we would normally say.
He's in cahoots with someone else other than his wife. Now, you mentioned before we listened to the songs, like, is it about a lady who finds out he's stepping out and she kills him? I'm going to get to that because we hear in the original song what we heard. There's 3 verses, and she spends a little bit of time worrying about him because there's a storm outside, and she's like, well, maybe he's just caught up in the storm or whatever. I hope he's okay, sort of thing.
Yeah.
She's still, at this point, you kind of feel like she's had her suspicions, but she still hopes that it's not true.
Yeah.
He finally comes home, and it says in the song she smells this other perfume.
Uh-oh.
And she knows, and he knows that she knows, and the song kind of wraps up at that point. It tells it's a dark story. This is not a fun song, although it is my favorite Garth Brooks song. He co-wrote this with another guy, and that's one thing I do like about Garth Brooks is he spends a lot of time writing or co-writing his own music.
Props.
Oh yeah. I always have respect for someone who is able to contribute so much more than just their voice to music, no matter the genre. But anyway, so what I like about the song is how vivid the descriptions are.
Yeah, it's painting a picture, telling a story.
You listen to the verses, and you can picture this woman. You can picture her anxiety. You can picture her anger when she knows.
And plus, you've got the thunder and lightning and storm sounds going.
What's that?
And you've got the thunder and lightning, or the thunders, and rain sounds going.
It is a very, very vivid picture. There's so many songs that we like that are vague, and they are intentionally vague, and they're kind of left to the listener to interpret, to picture, that sort of thing. But this is a very specific instance that, it's a very specific story that Garth is telling in the song. And it's like, the opening verse, 3:30 in the morning, not a soul in sight. The city's looking like a ghost town on a moonless summer night. That is vivid.
Yeah.
You immediately picture the middle of the night. There's no one around. Everyone's been outside at like late at night at some point, where it's just kind of an odd feeling when there's just nothing happening. No one is around. You can't see or hear anyone or anything else. It's kind of an eerie thing when you sit there and kind of look at it and think about it.
And it sets the tone.
It sets the tone, exactly. Later in verse 2, every light is burning in a house across town. She's pacing by the telephone in her faded flannel gown. I mean, you can picture this woman in her house, just like, oh, just where is he? Where is he? You know, I'm worried, but I'm also,
can't sleep.
Yeah.
Mine's racing. No telling where that cat's doing.
Yeah. And of course, you know, her suspicions are, you know, true. So I guess I should start with the music video on this. The video that we saw, it's the studio recording, but all it is like a lyrics video. And there's a reason for that. The official video is not found in any official capacity on YouTube anyway, because Garth Brooks has always had a pretty heavy and hard stance on streaming, on having his music available digitally, things like that. So you're not going to find his catalog on Spotify. You're not going to find all of his official music videos on YouTube or anything like that.
Yeah, how do you get hold of Garth Brooks stuff? I mean, I'm looking at Spotify right now. I mean, there's stuff on here.
There is stuff, but it's like live recordings from Germany and a whole ton of covers.
That's right. There's no fences, and then there's a live album, and that's it.
That's it. Now, I feel like at this point, the problem is probably that he's gotten too deep into some of these contracts from before.
That's possible.
Where he had the heavy anti-digital stance that the contract either just has to live its life out or he has to figure out some way to buy out of it. Because I feel like at this point, he probably does want his music out there more. People aren't buying CDs and tapes.
No.
More really. People are buying records, and you can buy a number of his records, but you can't buy No Fences. No, not No Fences. You can't buy Rope in the Wind, which was the next album after this one.
What?
No, you can't.
The fans, the Garth fans, what are they doing? I guess they're still listening to their CDs, or they're buying on. I guess, can you go to Apple Music and buy?
You might be able to go on either Apple Music or iTunes and buy.
I'm sure you can buy it digitally. Let's just go look. I want to find out. I want to know.
Go look.
Let's pretend that I have just been so inspired by this episode, and I've got to buy the No Fences album. So I'm going to go to Amazon, like we always do about this time. Okay. No Fences.
But anyway, while you're looking that up, I'm going to talk about the official music video for a little bit. And, you know, you can already get a really good mental image of... Oh, go ahead.
I can buy the audio CD for $14, or I'm on Amazon Music and I can listen now. It looks like you can listen on Amazon Music, maybe. Yeah, it came up.
Okay. I'm sure there are places. Well, there you go. It's right there. I just heard it.
It's not really easy to find, though. I mean, it's
not as, his music is not as easily consumable as the vast majority of other musicians, especially musicians of his stature. But back to the official video, you know, it's shot and played out just like the events in the song, but
it's dramatized with some actors.
Yes, it's dramatized, and I believe, if I remember right now, I haven't gone back and watched the official video as part of my research for this, but I do remember, and I do feel like Garth Brooks himself plays the role of the
interesting
the man.
Okay.
In this poor relationship, but the song never alludes to it, but the video kind of helps paint a picture that he's not just a guy cheating on his wife. He's a guy that abuses his wife.
Okay. That was my gathering also.
Yes. Yeah. And that kind of goes back to what you said exactly, that there's cheating and there's domestic abuse in this.
Okay. That was the one that I guess that I know there's another famous song that I think is by, it might be Dixie Chicks or something, where there's a guy beating on a girl and eventually she's had enough and offs him somehow.
That's Earl or something like that.
That's it.
Yeah. That's a more fun song, although it's kind of a hoppy little joint of a song, but it's
I think the only reason I know about that one is because Harvilla did it on 60 Songs.
Oh, yeah.
And he also did a Garth Brooks. He did Friends in Low Places.
I think he did Friends in Low Places. That's right.
Yep, there it is.
But anyway, so you've got the music video that helps kind of paint this overall picture of the song. And man, like I said, it's intense. It's an intense song. It's an intense video. Now, what some people, a lot of like big Garth Brooks fans know, but someone like you who may not know, there's a fourth verse that is not on the recorded, the studio recording.
Really?
That he wrote it.
It was written but was not recorded.
What's that?
It was written but not recorded.
It was written but not recorded. I think the record company thought it was a little too incendiary for the studio recording.
Oh.
So let me read you this fourth verse, okay?
Oh, interesting. The deleted scene.
Keeping in mind the
way the third verse ends.
Yeah, the way it ends. She knows. He knows that she knows. And then with a studio recording, you're kind of left to wonder, where does it go from there? So fourth verse, she runs back down the hallway and through the bedroom door. She reaches for the pistol kept in the dresser drawer. Tells the lady in the mirror he won't do this again because tonight will be the last time she'll wonder where he's been.
Whoa.
It is intense.
God.
Yeah.
She's had enough.
And so the cool thing with the fourth verse is pretty much since, I don't know when he started singing the fourth verse in his live shows, but I want to say pretty soon after this album got big, and just pretty much any time since when he's sang this song, he always includes this fourth verse. And
wow.
The crowd goes nuts because,
yeah,
that's the only way you would hear it. And so
cool.
Yeah, and it really kind of like, would she really shoot him for cheating on him? Probably not, but it kind of gives you the idea that he was more than just a cheater, and then the video kind of alludes to the fact that he was an abuser and all that. So
it's time for him to go.
A total picture that this guy is a complete bastard and deserves his fate, which is about to be handed to him. So
my goodness.
It's a hardcore song.
It is. Wow.
But I love it, like I said,
it's
just
intense.
because of one, the intensity of the song, but two, like it's a country song and there's elements of country in it, but like, there's some distorted guitar in there. There's some
I noticed some cool feedback and stuff.
Song.
Yeah, I noticed like some cool little guitar feedback that was really nice in there.
And to kind of piggyback on that idea, Garth Brooks was never a typical country singer. I mean, once he got huge, he started doing. He would sell out stadiums. I mean, his tours still sell out stadiums.
Does he still tour? I thought
he
kind of
tours occasionally. Now he did retire for a handful of years back in the 2000s, I believe. Started kind of sporadically touring again. He did, I think, 2 different stints in Vegas, had like a Vegas residency. And then he's done some limited like stadium bookings. But like I said, I was, just kind of listening to nothing but country when he came up and started getting big. Now, I didn't get on with him until the No Fences album came out, this one. But I remember the day that my mom came home with the cassette tape, she had stopped at, I think, Walmart or something like that on her way home from work and grabbed the tape.
Your mom bought the new Garth Brooks CD or tape at Walmart.
Cassette, yep.
Yeah.
She did. And I was like, she walked in the door with it. She said, "Hey, let's I just got this. Let's listen to it." I was like, "Yes." And it was the whole thing. Like I opened it up, put it in the tape player. We start playing, and I pull out. I had like the lyrics sheet that you unfold, and all the lyrics right there. And I'm just listening and singing along with it. And
man, what was the last time that you opened up a cassette and unfolded all the paper and read the lyrics?
earlier this year when we did the California Raisins
Nicely
episode.
done. Good job.
Before that, it's been a really long time.
a CD or a piece of vinyl. I do that, somewhat frequently. But tape, man, I don't have any. I don't have any cassettes. I have a cassette copy of Siamese Dream with no case or nothing that you gave me. I think it was in Holly's car, right? And it's a piece of my, Pumpkins. Physical media collection, yes. So I have to keep that one.
Oh, yes. Man, I was so excited about that tape. The whole album, I mean...
Which album?
Read off, huh?
Which album is this again that your mom got?
No Fences.
No Fences, okay. The one we were just talking about, okay.
The one we're talking about, the one that has...
From 1990.
Yeah. So, No Fences was his biggest selling record. The Thunder Rolls was a huge single for him, but the bigger single off of that, and one of his signature songs is Friends in Low Places. Now, you can be the most diehard anti-country person in the world, and I can almost guarantee you that if you have listened to music in the last 30 years, you've heard Friends in Low Places at some point. It is...
Absolutely.
It is the word ubiquitous. I don't know. It's just...
It's got to be like a karaoke staple. It's got to be...
Oh, and it's one of those that brings down...
It's a party song. It's a drinking song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It brings down the house every time. I mean, it's just, it is, such an interesting. Look at you.
Of course I know that song.
Okay, yep. Let's see. The Thunder Rolls is the opening track on No Fences.
It's a way to start.
Oh, yeah. It kind of hits you over the head right off the bat. I want to say just about every song on this album got some kind of radio play. It's one of those albums that they weren't all singles, but people were playing every song on the radio at some point. New Way to Fly, Two of a Kind, Working on a Full House.
Victim I do like that one.
It's a great song. It's a great song. Wild Horses, Unanswered Prayers.
Now, Wild Horses, is that the Rolling Stones cover? Or is it he's got his own?
No, it's a different one.
Oh, okay. I do like that Rolling Stones song, Wild Horses.
Yeah, I do too. The Garth Brooks song, Wild Horses, is a good song, but Rolling Stones definitely owns. If there were multiple songs that needed to be named Wild Horses, Rolling Stones kind of owns that one. But anyway, yeah. So, goodness, this album was just gigantic. And then his next album was almost equally as big, Rope in the Wind.
That one I recognize. I recognize the cover.
Rope in the Wind or
Rope in the Wind?
Yeah. Now, Rope in the Wind, I always really liked. The blue and black striped shirt.
Yes, and I think, let me look at the track listing. I may have a little. Hang on, where's that track listing?
Oh, please let me know.
Hang on. Oh, okay. Yeah. All right, go. Now let's go through these tracks.
Okay.
The one that I know the most is Shameless, because it's a Billy Joel song.
It is a Billy Joel song. That's right.
Yeah, and I don't like Billy Joel. Sorry, just don't.
Fair. That's fine.
But I liked this song.
Shameless is
is pretty good, and I think Garth. I mean, it's his song now. It is his.
Absolutely. Shameless is a fantastic song. Whether you like country or not, it's a great listen.
Just like Nothing Compares to You is Sinead O'Connor's song, even though Prince wrote it. Yeah. That's her song.
That's right. It's funny because I actually thought for a little while that I was going to do Shameless instead of the Thunder Rolls, and Shameless is probably my second favorite Garth Brooks song. It's so close.
You can make a total fool.
Exactly.
I just wanted you to know.
Another fun song on Rope on the Wind. The one that tells a story is Papa Loved Mama. Papa drove a truck nearly all his life. You know, it drove Mama crazy being a trucker's wife.
Oh, I guess that one.
It's about a trucker who, you know, leaves for stretches of time, and Mama gets tired of being alone with the kids and ends up in an affair. And then Papa came home early from a trucker trip, and she had left the kids home alone while she was meeting this other man at a hotel across town. And he drives his truck. He figures out where they're at and drives his truck into the room, killing all of them.
As one does.
Yeah. Actually, no. Papa didn't die. Mama and the other dude died. Papa was in the prison.
Okay, he went to the pokey.
Mama's in the graveyard. Papa's in the pen. That's the lyric.
That's good stuff.
That's another really good, like a vivid. You're picturing all this, but Papa Loved Mama is like a faster song. It moves at a much quicker pace than the Thunder Rolls, but it's equally like descriptive, and you're picturing all this as you're listening to the song.
I'm going to listen to Shameless.
Do it.
I will do that. Not right now, but I'll put a clip. Yeah, I'm definitely going to put a clip because I sang it, so I got to put a clip in there. Let's see how far off my. I'm probably singing in a different key.
Some of my, another couple of favorite Garth Brooks songs. One is called "The Dance." It was one of his earliest big hits.
Give me a few bars of that. That sounds familiar.
Very, very kind of melancholy song.
Can you sing a little bit of it?
Looking back on the memory of the dance we shared beneath the stars above. Yeah. Yes. Oh, gosh. Please clip over me singing. Please just edit that crap out.
Looking back on the memory of the dance we shared beneath the stars above.
I wasn't ready.
I love it.
One thing we talked about the video, and that's something that Garth Brooks embraced very early on. In fact, we just talked about the dance. The video to the dance has a lot of video footage of people like Martin Luther King, John F. Kennedy, John F. Kennedy, some other people who have passed, who made a big mark in some way on the world. And the song is about. I gotta think about the lyrics again.
Is it one of those like a patriotic, slanted kind of country songs?
Not even really patriotic. It's let me just.
Country artists love to go super patriotic sometimes.
This is not patriotic. No.
Okay.
Okay, so the main chorus says, "And now I'm glad I didn't know the way it all would end or the way it all would go. Our lives are better left to chance. I could have missed the pain, but then I'd have to miss the dance." So what he's saying is you've either lost someone close to you, or we've lost a big figure in the world who meant a lot to a lot of people. You're wondering if it had been better not to have them at all, instead of experiencing the pain of losing them, but then you would miss out on the experience of them.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I on a related, I don't know if this is a parallel or not, or Clay's just I was thinking about something that I was having a discussion with my mom and dad the other day, and I was like,
okay.
They were talking about my dog, Ozzy. They're like, how's Ozzy? And I was like, he's great. I wish you guys would get another dog. Wish you guys would get a corgi. And they're like, yeah, but, when we had our other ones and they died, it was just so heartbreaking. I was like, yeah, I mean, that is really sad when they die for a little time, but think about the 10 or 15 years of love and excitement and joy and memories that you get to have. I would take that over having to be sad and grieve for a little while.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I don't know if that's related at all, but...
No, it's a similar sentiment. Yeah, it's kind of a struggle when you lose someone close.
You hate the pain, but
sucks. But is the pain worth having lived, with or through, or
we have to have our pain
alongside that? Yeah,
We don't want it. It's not enjoyable. It's not pleasant, but we have to have it.
I agree. But anyway,
like in the Star Trek V, I need my pain. I want my pain.
I was wrong. This con man took away my pain.
Damn it, Bones, you're a doctor. You know that pain and guilt can't be taken away with the wave of a magic wand. They're the things we carry with us, the things that make us who we are. If we lose them, we lose ourselves. I don't want my pain taken away. I need my pain.
Only on I Got a Song where you have a Star Trek reference in the middle of a Garth
Star Trek
Brooks
V is terrible, but
yeah, you remember a line from it.
Yes, of course. William Shatner, still kicking.
But Garth Brooks was leaned real heavily into his videos. The Dance had a great video. The Thunder Rolls had a great video. There's another one. I don't remember much about the official video for Friends in Low Places, but there's another song that he had called Standing Outside the Fire. And it's about kind of being brave in the face of adversity, something along that line. And the video is about a young man with Down syndrome who's entered into this like a track meet type of race. And, you know, the video spends a little bit of time at the beginning, you know, showing like kids making fun of him. Dad doesn't really want, you know, Dad's almost like ashamed of him, that sort of thing. But they're at this track meet. And he takes off running, and he falls halfway around the track. And, of course, the other kids just blow by him. And the dad finally comes to his senses, and he jumps out there and says, "Get up, you have to finish the race." And he picks his kid up and helps run with him to the finish line. Jeez, I'm getting choked up thinking about it. But it's like a real powerful video. And it really illustrates the song really well. Standing Outside the Fire was from his album In Pieces, I think. And I'll look that up here in a second. But yeah, he really put a lot of thought and effort into his music videos, you know, at the height of his fame. Like I said, he finally started kind of trailing off, I want to say maybe very late 90s, rolling into the early 2000s. I mean, he's still gigantic, of course, and he's still selling out big places. But I mean, you know, he's getting older, and you know, country has kind of moved on. You know,
but I still like have no doubt that like I mean, people eat that stuff up though. Still,
of course they do. Of course they do.
You know,
yes.
Yeah. Even though it's different, you know, like modern country is like just completely different, I guess, than, you know, in the 90s. I don't keep up with it. But
I don't subscribe to hardly any of it. I mean, you know me, the vast majority of my country is like 90s and prior. And
mine's even further back than that.
Very little country beyond about 2000.
Yeah. See episode 54, Fair and Young.
I'm like, oh, you know, I like that. But
you know, it's even like only just within the past few years that I've come to like appreciate some of that 90s country that I hated so much at the time.
You know, yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
like just like getting to talk about
like,
Garth Brooks right now. These like I surprised you a little bit, I think. On
you did, yeah, absolutely. I was really kind of surprised you're able to drop lyrics from these songs that I knew and pretty much had figured that you abhorred. But like we were saying earlier, they were everywhere.
Yeah,
you'd hear them in stores. You'd hear them, you know, on other people's radios when you had no choice but to hear it.
Yes, that was a lot of my country experience in the 90s. Was like it was around and like in the warehouse at work. There, you know, it's mostly it's somebody going to be listening to the country radio, you know. And if Clay's in there, it's going to be classic rock radio. But you know. And it was just around, and you just had to. You could either decide to just deal with it and try to annoy, you know, or you could just be pissed off all the time, you know. And
it's kind of a choice.
And sometimes I chose that angry side, but and I would just be annoyed with it and everything. But like now, over time, it's you know, I've changed. The music hasn't changed, you know, and I can appreciate it, and I enjoy some of it, you know, at the right time and place when I want it. I know what I like, and I can get there, you know.
You know what? And I really like what you just said. You said the music has not changed. We all have changed, but the music has not changed. And I can go long, long stretches without listening to Garth Brooks or any of his contemporaries from the 80s or 90s country. But man, when I get the mood to listen to country, I mean, Garth Brooks is amazing. I have several of his CDs, including the ones that we've mentioned here. No Fences, Rope in the Wind, all those. They're CDs that we had bought years ago when you could just walk into Walmart and buy them. And
we got to bring up Dwight Yoakam. You know, we did that Dwight Yoakam episode.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Were they? I mean, they were kind of both around in the same era, but
yeah.
I mean, Dwight was definitely
Yoakam
not
started before Garth Brooks. And Dwight Yoakam is really a much more traditional country singer, generally speaking, than Garth Brooks. Garth Brooks has some honky tonk songs for sure, like Two of a Kind, Working on a Full House. That is about as country gets in the 90s. But but you know, Garth Brooks did a lot for country. Like he was one of the ones that really kicked down the door into like almost rock country, you know?
I was going to ask. I was wondering if there was like
I won't say pop country because pop country goes way back before Garth Brooks, but he had a little bit of pop crossover. But I mean, he did a lot more. Like, I mean, he was, like I said, he was selling out arenas. He would run around the stage with like a headset because he didn't want to be tied to a microphone and a mic stand. He was
one of those early ones that was doing that, had the wireless kind of thing, wasn't
he? Yeah. He would, you know, get hooked up on a tether and like fly out over the audience while he's singing crap like that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I mean, his concerts were unbelievable. And in fact, I want to say maybe 91 or 92, just like the height of his fame. We tried, like my mom and I tried to get tickets to go to a Garth Brooks concert. He was going to be playing in, I want to say he was going to be playing in Nacogdoches at Stephen F. Austin's big venue there. But it was a lottery to get tickets. And I don't know if it was one of the first artists to kind of do this because the demand for his tickets were so high.
Yeah.
That you had to, if I remember right, and you know, this is my mom telling me.
It's like trying to get Taylor Swift tickets now, probably.
Yeah, exactly. The process was very similar to that, where it's almost like you paid up front for a chance to get tickets, and if you didn't get them, you got your money refunded or something to that effect.
Yeah, and we don't want to get Taylor Swift tickets, but we have to because we have a 10-year-old daughter who's a little Swiftie.
Oh my!
So that's coming. I'm gonna have to spend money on that, but I may not have to go.
You can always use the lottery excuse. But yeah, man. So we didn't get the tickets. We were not selected. I'm not even sure Mom went through with it all because I think the whole idea of the lottery system kind of put her off. She's like, well, what if I only get one or two tickets when it's 3 or 4 of us wanting to go, or what if only one of us gets it, or we want to all be able to go or not go at all. And whatever the case was, I don't remember the exact details, but we didn't go. And I was disappointed, but I moved on. But it would have been cool to say I saw Garth Brooks live at the height of his frenzy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so
now, did he get any pushback, like in the like from traditional country people? Were they saying that he was too rocky and he's not country enough, or was there any of that?
I haven't read.
Because it seemed like there was a lot of that.
I haven't read much about that, although I have to think that there was some of that. You're kind of he was buddies with a lot of these older country people, but I'm sure there was some stuff said. But then once he got so big and extended country beyond their traditional borders, I feel like that they probably stopped complaining about it pretty quick, because they're like, well, I don't like his style of country, but my stuff just went up 200% in popularity because of him. And so, like I said, I saw more of a kickback later in the 90s or early 2000s when the really poppy crossover country stuff started happening. And that's when
Like
I think I think like your George Straits and your Alan Jacksons and some of these older artists really started being like, this isn't country, y'all. This is pop with steel guitar, you know.
Okay,
And
see, because I would think that Alan Jackson and George Strait are kind of like the more traditional kind, but
that's what I'm saying. They were the ones that were saying, you know, we don't like the way country is heading. But it was after Garth Brooks had his big day, because they put out a song called "Murder on Music Row," and it was about on music, Murder on Music Row.
Did you hear that brodozer go by?
Yep. It says it was recorded as a duet between George Strait and Alan Jackson. It says the song laments the rise of country pop and the accompanying decline of the traditional music sound. And they put that out. That was recorded in late 1999 and released in 2000, kind of when this pop country phenomenon really started to take off.
Now, when you say pop country, tell me, like, give me, like, I don't know. You're more, because like
I'm trying to think of who they would have at that time. They would have been. Let me find out here.
Would Dixie Chicks be pop country? I guess, I don't know.
Well, I'm not even so sure about the Dixie Chicks, because they had a very bluegrassy sound in a lot of their music.
Yeah, that's true.
And all three of them were like very accomplished musicians.
Yes, they were very accomplished musicians for sure.
I can't think of a single Dixie Chicks song that I even care for, but
no, we don't like them.
But I can respect songwriting and musical ability.
Absolutely.
And they could all three sing, and they could all three play their instruments very, very well.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, I guess probably like Carrie Underwood. Who else? Taylor Swift when she first got started.
All right. Those are girl pop.
Yeah.
What about? I mean, are there any dudes that are poppy and
Keith Urban maybe?
Okay.
If you know much about him or any of his stuff.
Is Toby Keith in that lane? I don't know enough
he
about.
He was more traditional country.
Okay.
But no,
I know my mom and dad like him. They could never get me into him.
Toby Keith really fell into that. Kenny Chesney, Rascal Flatts,
Pass.
Stuff like that. I don't know. And like, you don't know any of this stuff, really.
No, I know the names. I just it's not my thing.
But not traditional country.
I'll tell you, it's terrible.
Like I said, I think they glossed over Garth Brooks because he really expanded country beyond country borders. And if there was any complaints, they shut up real quick when everybody's country stuff started taking off.
Yeah.
But then it kind of lent itself to other interpretations. And now, I mean, modern country radio, I don't want to just trash an entire genre, but it is indistinguishable from like pop radio or even some like light hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't want to touch much on it because it just really makes me angry. Because like I'll hear a modern country thing that's got like an auto-tuned rap kind of thing over some banjo or something, and like it's super obnoxious, and it's just not good to me. I don't want to talk about music that we don't like. I mean, we can really, because it just wears me out to talk about music that annoys me.
This isn't a tangent that I really wanted to fall down a big rabbit hole on, but you know,
it doesn't deserve any time of ours to talk about. I'm going to
kind of rein it back in and bring it back to Garth Brooks, and just how incredibly huge this one guy was throughout the 90s.
Oh yeah.
And even like when his popularity started to fall off, I mean, he went to selling 5 million records instead of 15 million records, you know? And it's like, at some point, every artist goes through that, you know?
Now, what about the Chris Gaines thing? Are you going to talk about that?
I did some research on Chris Gaines. I wasn't really going to say anything, but
yeah, you got to, man.
It was okay. Yeah,
it was one of the first things that I thought of when I saw the Garth Brooks profile. I was like, okay, we got to talk about the Chris Gaines thing.
For anyone that doesn't know, Chris Gaines was
what is he? An alter ego?
Like an alter ego of Garth Brooks. It was a rock and roll alter ego of Garth Brooks, and it was kind of not at the tail end of his popularity, but he'd already kind of had his peaks, and he'd plateaued, and he was kind of on. Chris Gaines, I want to say, was kind of in the beginning of his decline and overall just huge popularity. And so there was going to be a movie that he was going to star in as Chris Gaines. Yes. And this album was supposed to be kind of a lead into that. Well, I think something fell through on the movie, and all that was left was this album. And
so he was going to make Head.
Pretty much, yeah. It was.
And
like
he's going to make an art film,
a vehicle for him to begin his acting career. Now that music was kind of.
But when he wrote it, instead of sitting around taking a bunch of drugs like the monkeys, he probably just drank a bunch of beer, smoked some ciggies, and was like, "All right, boys, how about this? I'm gonna be Chris Gaines."
And he's like, "Yeah,
y'all call me Chris from now on." It's a great idea.
Now, here's the thing with the Chris Gaines album, and I just mentioned that, nobody liked it.
Oh,
allegedly,
okay.
Allegedly, nobody liked it. However, that album sold over 2 million records. That's a pretty big dent in album sales.
But really,
for an album that nobody allegedly likes.
Okay, I heard this analogy a few years ago with U2. Somebody said you could record a 45-minute album of Larry farting on a snare drum, and it would sell 5 million copies because it's Larry Millen Jr. and it's U2. Yes. And it's the same thing with Chris Gaines. People found out it was Garth, and so because it's Garth Brooks, you're instantly going to buy. You're instantly going to sell 5 million or whatever.
People were confused because originally it was going to be a marketing vehicle for this movie. Well, the movie never materialized, and the marketing just kind of fell flat on the record. So there's
just no interest, I guess, right?
There's a picture on the front that says like The Life and Times of Chris Gaines or something like that. I don't even remember the name of the album, but it says Chris Gaines. But you see this guy that looks, it's Garth Brooks, but he's got like a soul patch
and eyeliner or something,
and like he's got like kind of like almost like a grunge style haircut.
Did he have eyeliner or something on too?
I don't know.
I thought he had eye makeup.
I don't know about eyeliner if he did. It wasn't like Alice Cooper level, but
okay.
But you're like, that looks like Garth Brooks, but it says Chris Gaines. What is this? And there's nothing alluding to Garth Brooks in there. It's a true alter ego, and there's like these more kind of rocky type of songs in there, and none of them are memorable. It's been a long time, but I tried to give it a listen some years after this album came out. Maybe I can find a hidden gem in there. There were no hidden gems. They were just all kind of meh. And
there's a reason. Yeah, he tried something different.
But I think he even went on Saturday Night Live. So like he was the host of Saturday Night Live, but then performed as Chris Gaines in one of the musical segments.
Oh yeah, didn't he? Like when he did the intro, he said, "Okay, musical guest is Chris Gaines" or something. Did he say that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did.
If you're gonna do it, that's how you do it. I mean, he was committed, wasn't he? He went on SNL and did it. He was committed. Hard, obviously,
it fell so flat.
It just didn't work out for old Chris,
and it didn't stand the test of time either. So
it did not hold up.
Nope. But yeah. You made me talk about Chris Gaines.
Yeah, I had to. My friend Whitney really loves Garth Brooks. I hope she listens to the show. My friend Whitney, that I worked with at CarMax, she really loved Garth Brooks. I hadn't talked to her in a long time.
Like I said, it's very hard to overstate how popular this guy was and the mark that he left on music. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, even for somebody like me who did not like country in the 90s, I know some of those songs, and at some point along the way they wiggled their way into my psyche, and I just know some of those songs, and I can kind of hum along and sing a couple lines.
But on top of that, he's like a kind of a beloved guy in music in general. Like he's done some good covers, including, we talked about Shameless earlier. He covered a Bob Dylan song.
Which one?
Make You Feel My Love, which is, to me, the best cover of that song.
Not familiar.
It's like a love song that Bob Dylan wrote, I think, for a movie in like 2000 or something like that. I don't remember the name of the movie now, but Make You Feel My Love is written by Bob Dylan, and there's some other people that have covered it. I think Adele covered it, and some other people. But Garth Brooks' version is probably my favorite version of that song. And then he'll do like guest spots with musicians that you wouldn't necessarily think would work, but it works. Like there's a video of him singing on stage with Justin Timberlake. And like Justin Timberlake is playing in Nashville, and he starts playing the guitar intro to Friends in Low Places, and he sings like the first maybe line of the song, and then he's like, you know what, I need a little help with this song. And he kind of looks behind and says, Garth, why don't you step on out? And Garth Brooks just kind of comes out of the shadows, and the crowd goes nuts because they're in Nashville, and they sing Friends in Low Places together. And
nice.
It's cool. It's really cool. It's even if you're not a Timberlake fan or really even a Garth Brooks fan, it's a cool.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of either, but I would watch. I'd like to see that. I'd watch that.
It's a sweet video. Yeah.
Do you have any homework assignments for this one? I'm going to give you some homework. We didn't talk about homework on the last one.
Oh my! Well, you give me my homework assignment first, and then I'll give you yours.
All right. Well, I will send you about 3 or 4 Monkees tracks.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, I'll share my top 5 favorite with you, and then you can send me some of your. I want you. Let me see what my favorite Garth Brooks songs are. I guess that Two of a Kind, Working on a Full House. I like that. Yeah. I wish I could just go into Spotify and like pull up on the top whatevers, but that's cheating, and I can't do that. I wish you could too, but what I'll do is probably just send you a list of the songs, and then. What about that song "Rodeo"? That's not bad.
Okay, so this is an historic moment where Clay likes a country song more than I do. "Rodeo" is not my favorite Garth Brooks song. It's too
country.
It's too rodeo. It's just.
It's too belt buckles and cowboy boots and tight pants. It's too much of that.
I'm not into the rodeo scene at all.
I don't. Yeah, no, me neither at all. But that song's not bad. Shameless is fine.
Shameless is great. The dance is great. From Rope in the Wind, a song called "The River" is really good. Give me a little bit. I'll send you a list.
Yeah, I bet there's probably some other ones that'll probably stand out. But
I'll give you a handful of songs that are all kind of different styles. I may even send you that "Standing Outside the Fire" song. I'll give you a handful of songs, and just let me know what you think. The only problem is you're going to have to like dig them up on YouTube or something and find some terrible lyrics video of it or something like that. But
one other observation I made on this. The outro of the song ends with, just some thunder and rain and that kind of thing. Do you know another famous song that ends with a thunderstorm? Raining Blood, Slayer. The clip goes right here.
Raining blood! Raining blood! From the ones of the sky! Breathing is hard! Now I shall run!
And with that, no more Slayer.
I think that's all I've got for Garth Brooks.
We ended the Garth Brooks episode with a Slayer.
With a Slayer clip.
Yeah, Raining Blood. Okay.
Well, Clay, thank you for taking the time to listen to Thunder Rolls and hear.
It was my pleasure, Michael. Absolutely my pleasure. It's funny about the show. We really just never know what the other guy's going to bring. Now, me bringing the Monkees, that was not a surprise. I know you knew it was coming. You didn't know when, but yeah, for sure, we were definitely going to get the Monkees in there. And I did not know that Garth Brooks was going to make it to this show. But
I didn't.
He picked a damn good song.
I mentioned it off air before the show, but I got to give credit to my brother who mentioned he looked through the list of all the artists that we've done, and he noticed that Garth Brooks wasn't in there. He's like, dude, we listened to Garth Brooks for years as kids. It's like you gotta you got to do a Garth Brooks
Yes.
episode. I was like, you know what? I really
Great
do.
suggestion, Matt.
And I bounced a few songs off of him, and he actually said, well, what about Thunder Rolls? I was like, oh my gosh, yes.
And that was it,
boom,
huh?
top of the list.
Yeah.
And I considered Shameless, but Thunder Rolls just won out overall.
Oh, that's cool. Now, you said whenever we were talking about just like behind the scenes, whenever we were deciding when we could record today and everything, we're like, okay, you know, we can do it on this day. You got a song? You got it decided? And you're like, yeah, I've got it down between 2 or 3 maybe.
Yeah.
And then I had it down to a couple. And what I do is whenever if I'm having a hard time picking a song and I don't necessarily got a song yet, I'll kind of go through my old list, and The Monkees was on here for sure. And there was another song by a different artist that I also considered, and I listened to them both. And whenever when Porpoise Song came on and the piano came in, everything, I just like, I had the feeling, and I was like, this is it, I got a song. So, yeah, man, when that feeling comes and we got a song,
When I knew Garth Brooks was coming, I'd already had a couple other songs I was debating between. And then when I told you the other day that I was still debating between two songs, it was between Shameless and the Thunder Rolls.
I'm glad you picked Thunder Rolls.
Me too. But
I like Shameless. I do. In fact, I probably like.
Song,
I think I probably like Shameless better than this song.
That's fair.
I do. But I'm glad you picked this one. This is a better conversation.
Oh yeah.
I think.
And you know what's funny is I went back and listened to that Billy Joel cover.
Nope.
Nah.
Yeah.
Nah. Garth Brooks took it and made it his own, and for the longest time I didn't even know it was a Billy Joel song.
Yeah, I was proud that I knew that it was a cover when it was huge.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I knew that, and I was like, hey,
He wrote it.
something.
Billy Joel wrote it and performed it, but Garth Brooks really, I mean, with a handful of other exceptions, definitely a case of he took that song and made it his own. I mean, it is a Garth Brooks staple.
Yes, I definitely would rather listen to the Garth Brooks version than the Billy Joel.
Fair.
But that album, I think it's from the Billy Joel album Stormfront. I knew that album pretty well. Right. I listened to that album. I think it had that's the song that had We Didn't Start the Fire. I think it was on that album.
Oh, is it? Okay.
I think so. Because I think so. Stormfront was a Billy Joel album. I knew that one.
I'm sure that's right.
I liked it briefly, and then I was like, no, Billy Joel. Anyway.
And you moved on.
That's right. Michael, you picked a great song.
Well, I appreciate that, man. Thank you for hanging out with me and talking about it.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure.
Thank you for singing some Garth Brooks songs to me. That really kind of validated my choice.
Oh, I'm glad I was able to reach back and pull.
I was going to get one of those. I was really thinking when I said it, I was going to get one of those, sort of reactions. You're really sharing Garth Brooks, but man, you took it and rolled with it. I appreciate that.
Well, shoot, man, it's undeniable. You can't. He's in the conversation for sure. We gotta talk about Garth, and it's a cool song. It's a good song. It's a great song. I love that there's a fourth verse. I love that. Yes. That is really interesting. That's really cool. And you kind of hear you get a deleted scene, right?
The mythos of that song is just really, really. I mean, for the dark material contained therein, it's a cool song, a great video, and then just the fact that he expanded on it with that fourth verse. It's a neat story behind the song.
Yeah, what a treat.
All right, man. Well, as we always say, music is a gift, shared generously, and I've picked yet another song that I wouldn't necessarily just be like, hey, I heard this song about cheating and murder, manslaughter.
Oh yeah,
and domestic abuse, and I thought about you. Don't do that. But
right.
But, give the Thunder Rolls a listen. Watch the video if you can figure out a way to find it and watch it. Just absorb the fact that this took place in like 1990 when this video came out, and it was it's still a hard subject to discuss these days, obviously. But I mean, you got to think about how taboo it was in 1990 country for something like this to be put out there. And I've got one parting thing to say.
All right.
With Garth Brooks' continued popularity, I got to find my note to make sure I say it right. So in 2022, he played a concert at LSU, Louisiana State University, where the crowd was so loud that it registered as a minor earthquake on the university's seismograph.
Oh, my heavens. That's a crowd, buddy.
So he still draws a big, loud crowd.
Man, that's wow. That's like Beatles level.
Oh, yeah.
Mayhem. Wow.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
It registered on the seismograph.
It registered on the seismograph as a minor earthquake.
I love that you shared that. That's awesome, man.
I almost forgot it, and I had to slip it back in there. But with that, I think we're going to call it a day. Give us a listen. Visit the merch store.
Leave a Google voicemail, Google voice text, or
give us a Google song or Google song. Give us a Google text or a phone call.
We're struggling, aren't we?
Man, it's
been fun making the show, but we both struggled mightily throughout. Whenever it comes out, hopefully you won't hear all the, man, my mic stand completely just took a dump, and I had to get in here with a drill and some zip ties and... Oh, anyway, I love making the show, and I'm glad we got a chance to do it again, Michael.
Absolutely.
You gonna do another one someday?
Sure.
Me too.
Of course.
All right, man. Well, yeah, that's gonna wrap this one up, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining us, and we'll just catch you on the next one.
Absolutely. Let's do it again.
Good show, Mike. Good job.
Thank you very much, Clay.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Soon.
Car. I don't dow.
I should hit stop, shouldn't I?
Hey, we really appreciate you listening to the show. If you've enjoyed what you heard today, go ahead and check out the rest of our episodes and share them with your friends. Be sure to follow us and find us on Instagram at I Got a Song Podcast. You can find us on Twitter at I Got a Song Pod. And we would love to hear your voice, so leave us a Google voicemail at 323-903-SONG. Thanks a lot. We'll see you next time.
Sul.